for him to be with us this morning, but this afternoon. But please, if you could give a warm welcome. This is Dave in the Morning from WRNX.
Oh, thank you. It's time for Jack LaLaine and the new Jack LaLaine show. Who remembers that? Everybody to know? Oh my God. It is such an honor to be here. Welcome to Hard TV40 and WRNX. I'm Dave in the Morning. I volunteered to be here. Speaking of health, yes, we have Dave in the Morning toothbrushes. They're available at the registration table. Please help yourself. Oh boy, that's trouble. Oh boy. I used to watch Jack when I was 4 years old. I used to work out. All you needed to do that was a German Shepherd and a chair. You remember that? It was fabulous. There is no truth to the rumor that Jack was out last night drinking and beating up 20-year-olds. Not true. I'm not actually introducing Jack LaLaine. We have someone else to do that. Maybe you've heard of her. She's the power behind his muscle. She's 74 years old and can still take me in a bar fight. Please welcome Elaine LaLaine.
Thank you. Oh, well, he already told my name, my age. I usually get up here and say, well, how old do you think, how old is Jack? Does everybody know how old Jack is? Yeah, 86. And then he went and blew it and said I was 74. Well, anyway, that's the way it goes. Anyway, it's wonderful to be here. We want to thank Holyoke Hospital for inviting us here today. And let's hear it for Holyoke Hospital! Right! You know, when I first met Jack, I was a junk food junkie. I smoked cigarettes, and I ate bear claws and chocolate donuts, and I just loved them. And one day, I was on television in San Francisco, and I was on an hour-and-a-half show every day from 4:30 to 6. We had a 12-piece orchestra at ABC, and one day, somebody called me up and said, "We've got a guy over here who can do push-ups through your whole hour-and-a-half show." I said, "Wow, we can put him over there and he can do push-ups through the whole show." And that guy's name was Jack LaLaine. So that's how I met him in 1951. I started in 1949 on KGO when they first started in television. And this guy comes over, and I'm a little girl from Minnesota, land of all the Swedes and Norwegians, and so I didn't know anything about eating right, or I just ate meat and potatoes and cream and butter and all that stuff, and sugar on my lefses and my anyway. So my mother grew kind of like this, and I thought, well, I'm about 27 years old now, and I thought, well, I was going to grow that way too. And but this guy came over, and he's talking about exercise and eating right and all that stuff. So I used to walk through the studio, and where we were, our director was, and his desk was here. It was actually in the newsroom. It was very small. It wasn't very much larger than this area here. I would walk by and smoking my cigarette, wondering who's going to cancel out on that show today, and I wonder how the show's going to go, and I'm all worried about eating my chocolate donut. Jack came over and he says, "You know, the only thing good about the donut is the hole in the middle." And so then I eating my bear claw, he came over and he said, "You know, you should be eating apples and bananas and oranges. If I didn't like that, I wouldn't tell you this." And I went, "Oh yeah?" But he was to bring over a man with a very big corporation and was out to here. And he said, "We'll take 30 pounds off of that man in 30 days. And by golly, that man lost 30 pounds in 30 days right on the show. And I went home and I took a look at myself and I took all my clothes off and I said, "Oh, the sands of time are shifting." And I was swimming the Minneapolis Aqua College. I was in good shape in the early 40s. But now I was getting a little washboard look. My stomach was coming out to here. So I decided that maybe I would go into class with Jack. Well, on noontime, he'd have a little class. Well, I took the class. I got all charged up, quit smoking. I started boiling everything I used to fry. My whole life changed. And boy, was I a convert. So that's a little story about how I met Jack. Anyway, right now let's talk about you, because every 90 days, every cell in your body changes, which Jack is going to tell you about. But right now, I don't want you falling asleep while Jack is here. So can we have a little pointers, pointers? Let's just all lift our arms. Come on, let's go. Up, down, up and down and up and down. One hand, one. Stretch it. The other one, stretch. And, okay. Stomach in. Hold it. Then you gotta roll it between your shoulder blades. Crack the walnut between your feet. Crack the walnut. Let's get that posture. Let's stand up straight, sit up straight. That's it. And those of you who are standing, let's march. March up there. You're not doing anything. Come on, march. That's it. And rest. Okay. Right now, we did all this morning. Yeah. Pardon me? Anybody wants to come here in this area and come down and sit in front here if you want to hear. And it changed my life. How many people's lives were affected by Jack LaLaine? How many used to watch him? Oh, yeah! How many learned to count to 4? Okay, right now I'd like to introduce you to the man that swam from Alcatraz to the mainland, handcuffed and shackled, towing a 1,000-pound boat on his 60th birthday. On his 65th birthday, he towed 65 boats with 6,500 pounds of wood pulp in them in Japan, in Lake Oshinoko, a mile and a half. His feet were shackled, his hands were shackled. On his 70th birthday, he towed 70 boats with 70 people in those boats, one in each boat, and hands were shackled and feet were shackled, swam like a dolphin, a mile and a half against very high currents and winds. Norman Vincent Peale said, after hearing him speak, he said, "Jack, you should have been a preacher." And TV Guide said, he's the housewife's conscience, and right now, I want you to meet the man. He's not only, and he's been an advocate. He's gone through chiropractic college. He invented the first leg extension machine. He invented the first pulling machine. I want you to meet right now my husband, Jack LaLaine. I'm going to tell you. He's getting his microphone on. We had to share the microphone. So while he's getting the microphone on, I'm going to tell you that he is dedicated. I know each and every one of you know how dedicated he is. And he continues to be dedicated. He's phenomenal. He can do push-ups, still does his fingertip push-ups, and here he is, my husband, Jack LaLaine.
Thank you very much for that round of applause. They deserve it. She only weighs 120. Well, I can't afford to have a fat wife, I'll tell you that. Hey, I want to thank you all for being here. I'm so flattered and honored, I can't tell you. And all of you up there in the ritzy section, God bless you. We think you're terrific. Are you terrific? Before I'm through, we're going to show you how to beat. Better than you ever thought you could beat, right? Hey, you know, sometimes this physical fitness stuff can backfire on you. This man was 91 years old, very wealthy. One day, he took all his clothes off. He looked himself in the mirror. All his muscles have atrophied away. He's about 40 pounds underweight. He was hanging and dripping and sagging. So that day, he got the best physical trainer he could get. And for 3 months, he trained diligently. And he gained 3 inches from his chest. He doubled his strength, doubled endurance, which you can do even to 90. And he put on 30 pounds of solid muscle. He went home, after this time, and he looked himself in the mirror again. He looks like he's 50 years old. He's so happy. But then he took a look at his face. His hair was gone. His teeth were gone. Everything was hanging, drooping, sagging. He went to the best doctor he could find. They put collagen here, collagen there, new teeth, new hair to fill him up. And again, he looks in the mirror, and he's a young man, 50 years old. He's so happy. Boy, he's going across the street one day like this, so happy the way he looked. A big truck came through the stoplight, hit him, knocked him up in the air. And the guy says, God, why me? And God says, I didn't recognize you. Well, it's possible. Everywhere I go, we travel all over the world lecturing. People, I don't know, everybody's not in this profession, and they said, Jack, how did you get started? Well, I got started up to the age of about 14. I was a full-blown sugarholic. My whole life was sugar. I was 30 pounds underweight, got failing grades in school, and they kicked me out of school when I was nearly 15 years old because I was a troublemaker and failing grades. And it was during this time that I had dropped out of school. I attended a health lecture. And that man, I'll never forget him, his name was Paul Bragg, and that place, the first thing he said, my dear friends, it matters not what your present physical condition is. It matters not what your age is. If you obey nature's laws, you can be born again. What are nature's laws? I never heard this. He said, exercise and the food you eat. Well, I wasn't exercising. I was eating all this junk food, everything with cakes and pies and candy. I went home that night, and I prayed. I said, God or somebody, I need help. I'm a strict vegetarian, cut out all white flour, white sugar product. I joined the Berkeley, California YMCA, and the rest is history. Just like that, my life was saved. After going on regimen for about 2 weeks, these blinding headaches left. My energy went up. I couldn't believe it was me. This uncontrollable temper left me. People couldn't recognize that I was the same kid. I was born again. Now look, if something saved your life, would you be excited about it? If something saved your life, well, that's how I feel. It saved my life. That's why I'm enthusiastic about my profession. Folks, like you out there, all of you wonderful people here that are taking time out today of your busy schedule of doing nothing to be here, I promise you that you too can be born again. What do I want you? You know what I want you all to do? Forget about what you used to do. That's gone. That's past. Just like you spent $500 yesterday. You can't bring it back. It's gone. You've got to think about this moment, this second. And we're going to go from here, and then we're going to go. Well, anyway, I attended that health lecture. And within just a few months, I was captain of the football team in Berkeley High. I was into sports. I was winning physique contests. And my whole life changed. I got the reputation around it. Oh, Jack LaLaine, that muscle guy. He got those big muscles and he's breaking all these records, doing things. And doesn't eat meat. He doesn't eat cakes and pies. He's a real nut. He's a crackpot. That's exactly what the reputation I had then, So anyway, things went along. I went to chiropractic college and then, in fact, in high school, take this off.
No, just keep going.
You tell it. Anyway, so they picked me up in this limousine, and the man in the back seat, he led me to believe that we were going to meet somebody in Hollywood that would control who, if I made the audition or not, So he said, Jack, if you did this, what would you do? So we got into his office, and he was sitting down in a chair. He said, now what would you do? I said, well, you're home. And he had a big gut on him. I said, well, here's something to help you reduce your waistline. I was sitting in a chair, my hand doing leg raises, and all that stuff. And I said, now a little bit, both legs together. And he was doing this. Come on, a little higher. Bring it in. And he says, I feel that right there. And what else did he do? I had him do some push-ups and some legs for his legs and stuff for the arms. And what else could you do? I say, every day I have a nutrition tip. Yeah. And then also every day I'd have a motivational tip, telling people anything in life is possible, that you can do it, to encourage people. Boy, he's so enthusiastic. He says, Mary, his secretary, call OJ in New York. Picks up the phone. OJ, stop all auditions, I found my man. If I had known he was the man that was going to make the decision, I would have been so nervous, and I'd been like this, I'd been tongue-tied. But anyway, that's how I got in television. I know that's a very interesting story. But anyway, but needless to say, when I first started, you know, all the stuff that went on then about the nutrition and about the exercise. But now today, it's down to such a science. We know about foods. We know about exercise. We know about all these things. It's proven. Today, America, listen to this. With all the knowledge we have about exercise, about nutrition, about vitamins, America is the most overfed, undernourished, the fattest country on this earth. Look at these kids today. These high school kids, some of them, you know, they're all into drugs, they're all into booze, and into promiscuous sex, they're into all these terrible things. And so much of this, I'm convinced of, is coming because they're not properly nourished. See, the number one meal for anybody, even especially young kids, is having an adequate breakfast where you get enough protein and vitamins and minerals for breakfast to carry you over. But America, everything is foods in between meals. Cakes and pies and candy bars and soda pop, all these in-between meal snacks. And that's why people are in trouble. You know, this body, you know, you need a certain amount of vitamins, you need a certain amount of minerals, you need enzymes, you need all these things to keep the body going. You know, like I said, the only way you can hurt the body, you don't get old from calorie years. You know that? You get old from inactivity. I know people that are 25, 30 years old that are older than guys that I know that are 90. It's not old age, it's inactivity, right? Now, I told you about how you can take these 90-year-old people and double their strength and double their endurance in 6 to 8 weeks. Just think these people are 90, 95 years old. Just think they can double their strength and endurance. Just think with a lot of you younger people in here, just think what you can do with your bodies. Think about it. You can be a complete different human being. If I ask you, how many of you girls want to have better hair? How many of you want to have better elimination? You want to have better skin? You want to have better posture? You want a better sex life? You want to live longer? Well, I'm promising you all these things. These are facts. When you exercise, when you eat right, when you're in shape, you know, you're living. You know, the easiest thing there is on this earth, to die. You'll die. Any stupid donkey can die. It takes guts to live. To live, you've got to put something into it. It takes willpower. It takes pride and discipline. If you remember, all of you in this wonderful room today, remember 2 words and use them in your life, you can't fail. Pride and discipline. Pride and discipline. You think about that. If we could ponder into the kids, these kids, they should start out when they're in kindergarten, how to eat right and how to exercise, take care of their body, and believe in their country, believe in their family. We need family value, but remember everything. Make a buck, make more money, get into this. What the hell good can you make love to your money? I'm not averse to making money. I've always made money, but I never thought about making money. I thought about helping somebody, about helping Jack LaLaine to be happy, to be fulfilled what I've been put on this earth to do, to help my fellow man, to tell him the truth, and to be an example of what can happen. Work at living. If you can't afford a half an hour, 3 or 4 times a week, taking care of the most priceless possession on this earth, your body and you've got to be a psycho. You've got to be sick. People say, oh, Jack, I don't have the time. They sit around on their big fat butts watching television for 5 or 6 hours. These guys are in there drinking beer by 5 or 6 hours. Oh, I don't have the time. Or nothing. I don't have the money. You know, they go in there to a bar and they'll spend $15 or $20 or $30 in an hour or two, and they don't have the money. You know, I'm not the most intelligent looking person in the world, but I'm not that stupid either. Now, how do these things happen? Right now, all you wonderful, you know, I can't believe you're here. I'm very flattered. Thank you. Right now, as I'm talking to you, millions of my cells are dying. Millions of cells are being replaced. That's called metabolism, anabolism, and catabolism, the breaking down and building up system. That is the secret. Now, if you keep these in balance, Now, what makes a cell? And what makes you what you are? What makes your hair, your fingernails? The food you eat, right? If I eat inferior, negative thinking food, all the fried junk and all the white flour and all this excess fats and sugars, it's in my bloodstream, and this goes to manufacture these cells in my body, right? So these cells are going to be inferior. They're going to be not as good as they should be. Now, if I put good foods in my body, enough protein, enough fats and sugars and starches and more fruits and grains and vegetables, whole grains and natural foods, and if I exercise, then my bloodstream is going to be better, so these cells are going to be superior than the ones that we took down.
That's your bloodstream.
Okay. Oh, Elaine, see this is one of your arteries, your veins. See, look. I blow through that, goes right through, right? But suppose you had an obstruction there. See, like this. That's where you get cholesterol. Fat accumulates in the vessel wall, and the blood doesn't go through there. That's where you get all these problems, your stroke, your heart attack, and all these things. So when you eat something, you've got to say, what is it doing for you? Now, you've got all these 70 trillion cells in your body. Now, how are you going to nourish them? Can you go down there with a hose or something and water them? It's got to be through your bloodstream, correct? How do you get the blood to your fingers and all these things? Through circulation. How do you increase circulation? Your heart is a pump. When you exercise vigorously and do something, that heart beats harder and it pumps the body through your body. And it goes through there, keeps your blood vessels open, and it nourishes all these 70 trillion cells in your body. That is how you can grow younger. Yeah, it's incredible. When the good book says you are fearfully and wonderfully made, believe it. Do you think that man could ever make a filtering system like your liver? Your kidneys? Do you think man could ever make a laboratory like your liver? Do you think man could ever make a machine? I have a new Corvette. I'm a kid at heart. And that Corvette, now the more I drive it, right, and the harder I drive it, the quicker it wears out. Right there? Right? You know I sweater. Am I right or wrong? Right, okay. How about this human machine that this great omnipotent power has put together? The only way you can hurt this human body is inactivity. Don't use it. We're completely opposite from a man-made machine. So this machine that you have, I don't want you to go through like right into the old grave. I want you to do like zooming through, having a little fun. I want you to wake up in the morning feeling good with an objective, something to believe in. I want you to be able to work all day and have play or whatever you're going to do all day. At night you still have energy left for social activities or for your love life or whatever you're going to do. But see, you have to make those things happen. Your bank account and your health account is synonymous, right? The more you put in, the more you take out. Now, would you get your dog up in the morning, give him a cup of coffee, a cigarette, and a donut? Why are you laughing? You'd kill the dog. But how many Americans get up this morning with a cup of coffee, a cigarette, and a donut? They wonder why they're sick and they're tired, they're worn out, and why they die prematurely. They're working at dying. They're not working at living. See what you've got to do in your mind. So you've got to be selfish. If you don't take, we've had so much powder in our head. I like my mother. She was always saying about don't be selfish, don't think about yourself, think about other people. But if I don't think of Jack LaLaine, and if I'm not capable of helping other people, if I'm not around, what good is it? So I got to think of myself first. I got to take care of me. So you got to say, what is this food doing for me? Is it helping my elimination? Am I going to sleep better? Going to help me to live longer? Am I going to have more energy, more vitality, my health? Is it building nice solid muscle instead of fat? Then you create a liking for it. What can you taste? Sweet and sour, right? You've got to get it in your brain. If something is deleterious to me, and if it's something that I know is not good for me, I create a dislike for it right away. If it's something that's good for me that I didn't like before, I create a like for it. See, you've got to save yourself. We gotta take, every one of us, we gotta take responsibility for our actions. You know, as I said earlier, you know, I've never heard 5 o'clock in the morning, Jack, this is Jesus, I'll work out for you today. Wouldn't that be great? And I see these people that are 150 pounds overweight, they eat all this junk food and they never exercise, and they're praying, dear God, make me thin, make me healthy. And God, if I were God, I'd look down, see, you boob, you do it. I'll show you how. As I said earlier, God helps those that help themselves. You've got to believe, I don't care what your religion is, because I'm sick of religion with all these wars and stuff. My religion's better than your religion, my God's better than your God. You'll have to admit there's a supreme being, there's something. Just look at your human bodies, how great we are, how wonderful we are. And something had to put that together, some great super mind that we know nothing about. So I worship that person, that whoever that put this together. I say, thank you, every day, thank you. And I try to do things to help me. But life's exciting, life's wonderful. Try and do without it. Can't, huh? But anyway, as I was saying earlier about exercise. Exercise, you have 640 muscles in your body. Think about it. I want you all right now, do this. Hard, come on. Hard. Come on. You know, you can make yourself years younger. You got 55 muscles in your face. And if you get your double chin, you get rid of all the stuff around your eyes. Remember, your muscles hold the skin up. These muscles are weak. You droop and hang and sag. You look like an old hang dog. How many of you girls out there, you have trouble seeing your knees? Think about it. How many of you guys out there, you get up in the morning, you're so tired, you're so pooped, you hate to go to work, you got that awful disease called poop-out-itis. You got to work at these things. Well, as I said now, your muscles in your waistline. What do you think holds all this up? See, we're fighting gravity. Everything wants to hang and droop and sag. And you girls, a lot of you out there have scars on your knees. Your knees are drooping, right? What keeps them up? You can't put your hands there all the time and, hey, aren't you great? You can't wear a special bra. It's going to do this for 24 hours a day. But it's muscle. You build up these chest muscles, pectoralis major and minor, you know, by doing your chest exercises, and it keeps your breast up. How many of you have this, all these kyphosis, you know, round shoulders and all this stuff, you know? Look at everybody, when I mention everybody starts to straighten up. It's amazing. You see, we're fighting gravity. You've got to kick yourself in the butt. Straighten up! But you've got to have strong muscles to do it. That's the whole key about exercising. And how about this eating thing? The number one meal in the day is breakfast. You, starting a trip, you've got this beautiful, wonderful machine. It needs fuel. Like when I take my Corvette, I'm going on a trip, I make sure I have a full gas tank, right? Or a poop out along the way. That's why so many Americans, they get up in the morning, they have a cup of coffee and maybe a cereal, no good breakfast. By 10 o'clock, they're pooped out and they go, what kind of life is that? You're miserable if you're tired all the time. For breakfast, you should have a good whole grain cereal, 1 or 2 pieces of fruit, and you should have protein, at least 4 egg whites. 4 egg whites, one of the greatest proteins known to earth, but don't eat it raw. Take a hard-boiled egg and just take the egg. Or you can eat eggs if you don't worry about the extra calories, but you cut your calories way down. Because an egg white only has 15 calories, 7 grams of protein. So with 4 egg whites, you get 28 grams of protein. See, that's about what you need every meal. So you get that for breakfast. You start out, and this protein keeps your blood sugar up for 6 or 7 hours. But if you have just the fruit and the cereal, then after an hour and a half, you're gone. Then you have an adequate lunch, an adequate dinner. And another one of the big negative problems in America is the eating between meals. You know, I just read an article about French people, they have one of the longest lifespans. And these people, the women, they have the most beautiful women in the world, the way they take care of themselves. But they eat small portions, and they never, very rarely eat between meals. And they do a lot of exercise. See, there's the key. You can see, in other words, if you exceed the feed limit, if you eat calories, you're going to get fat. Everybody thinks a big secret, you know. You got all these stupid books out there. Oh, boy, take off 3 pounds a week and you do this and this and eat anything you want. You know, some of these stars, when they got books out, oh, you can eat this, you can eat hamburgers and hot dogs and steaks and blah, 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 blah. That is a bunch of book. If you don't count calories, if you don't keep your calories like under 2,000 or less, you will not lose weight. It is impossible. Do you know how much exercise you have to do to burn up 500 calories? It's incredible. So you've got to combine the exercise. The exercise is king, nutrition's queen. You put them together and you got a kingdom, like I said. But here's the key. But make sure those calories you eat are balanced. You got to try to get at least 100 grams of protein a day. Try to get, what I do, I get 10 raw vegetables every day, 5 pieces of fresh fruit, all my grains are 100% natural whole grain. And my big thing is, if man makes it, don't eat it. Think about it. The air you're breathing right now, does man fool around with it? The water you drink, does man fool around with it? The vegetables, insecticides, pesticides, artificial fertilizers, they pick them green, and then they store them, and then people take them home and they boil them, and they throw the water down the sink. You end up with a healthy sink. So think about this. You got to get raw. You don't have to be a raw food, but you got to get a certain amount of raw foods in there. You know, some of the greatest foods on this earth, like a baked potato. It's only about 80 calories, one of the greatest foods. But I've never seen people, they go to a restaurant, I've never seen people eat that potato. They get all this sour cream and butter and cheese, and then they throw the skin away, right? I never eat the inside, I eat the skin. I may be nuts, but I'm still here. No. Brown rice, there's another wonderful food. Look at it, the Orientals, my God, they live on rice. But this natural brown rice, and try to get all these natural things in as much as it, and supplementation, this is a must. How many of you in this room use a little alcohol occasionally? Let me see your hand. God bless you. I'm a big believer. Everything comes from cows, don't use it. I don't have 3 stomachs and I'm not a suckling cat. No, you think 70% of the people on this earth are allergic to milk. Do you know that? Most are blacks and most are Orientals. But milk is a thing you got to use sparingly, maybe a little skim milk right there. But people use the butter, the cream, the cheese, the ice cream, and all these things, you know. 5 seconds on the lips, a lifetime on the hip. Like I said earlier, how many of you go down the street and you think somebody's following you in shoes? That's where you're in trouble, kid. Oh, it tastes so good. Then have to eat it. Why did I do that? Damn it, what's the matter with me? It's the devil. She does it. She said, oh, just take another bite. Who's going to know about it? Nobody will know about it. Oh, come on, just a little bit. You don't have to exercise today. Who's going to know if you exercise or not? See, that's what I've done. I built up this conscience. If I went through a day where I didn't exercise, I couldn't face you. Or if I went out to the restaurants and I ate a lot of junk and ice cream and cakes and pies, I couldn't face you because I don't live that way. When Elaine and I go out to a restaurant, we eat out. Most of the time, I always order 10 raw vegetables in a salad. And then I say, I call the waiter, I don't care what this costs now. I want this done, I want my fish done a certain way, and this, and I tell them exactly what I want. And the better the restaurant, the more they want to please you. And occasionally, maybe we'll have a little glass of wine, only when we eat. And but for you who drink, you don't have to drink. That's a personal problem. But if you're going to use any kind of alcohol, you make sure you get extra B-complex vitamins. Alcohol and sugar are synonymous. They both destroy B-complex. Back when I was a kid growing up, that's why I was tired all the time. And I had this uncontrollable temper. I couldn't concentrate because the sugar was taking all the B-complex out of my system. And it upset my whole metabolic system. How many of you use tea or coffee? Tea or coffee, see caffeine. I'm not telling you to quit this. But tea or coffee, you need extra vitamin E. And that's a very difficult vitamin to get in our society. So you've got to supplement your diet. So B-complex is important. Vitamin C is so important. You need the enzymes. I take about 40 vitamins a day. You know, I've been doing this for years. You all don't have to do this, but you should take the essentials anyway. You know, I'm one of these kind of people. You know, like the guy wears the rabbit foot around his neck, you know, for good luck. He says, you don't believe in that junk, do you? He says, in case it works. Right? Oh, yeah. Okay, Elaine said pop. Good job. All right. You know, like I said, if you don't exercise on a regular basis, it's like going to bed with a rattlesnake, right? It's alive. You like snakes? I even hate worms. Oh, here's a little thing. You know what I want to do? I want to see what kind of shape you're all in. I'd like to come over to your home, each of you, have you take all your clothes off. Well, I'm just like a doctor with that. I've seen stuff before. What have you got that somebody else hasn't got? Maybe a little more of it. And I'm going to take a picture of it, okay? And we put it on your next Christmas card. You all want about 3 or 4 months to get in shape, right? Think about that. That's why I went over. You get in front of that. You know, so many, especially women, you know, so vain about their look. And I'm proud. I want you to do that. But they look from here up. Look at this and this. Look behind you. Look at the whole thing. If you're not happy with your see, do something about it. Have that as your goal, your incentive. This is your little thing that you're going to strive for. You know what keeps we humans going? Absolutely. It's have something to look forward to, something to strive for. That's why I feel so sorry for people who retire. I go, my God, how can you do it? You got to get something you believe in. Then go ahead and do it. Be truthful to you. You know how many millions of people, you know, all of you in this room, each and every one of you, you don't realize how important you are, how many people's lives you influence. You, all you up there. Your kids, your friends, the people in your church, the people in your life, they look up to you, they respect you. If you do good, positive, wonderful things, you're going to affect them. So you can be doing just as much as I can be doing in your own little way, right? How about this? How many of you get in the morning when you lift your arms and... Is that you? You should get in the morning like this. No noise. No rust in the joint, right? No rust. That's how what exercise does. Keep all the impurities out of there. So when you move your arms, your legs, whatever you want to do, it's free, you know. You do it by doing something about it. Here's the thing I want all of you to really use the good tape. The tape measure. Well, let me tell you about the tape measure. This baby doesn't lie. You can look in the mirror and you can fantasize, oh, I'm not so bad, I look pretty good. You're kidding yourself and you're hanging and you, oh, I look pretty good. So baby, when you take this tape measure out and you put that around here and you look at it, see what you want to do. See, your waist should be no larger today than it was in your prime. Say when you were in college, you're playing football or baseball or whatever you were doing in your prime, whatever you were at your peak physically, whatever your waistline was, it should never get any larger. So that's what you got to do. And a lot of people say the scale. Well, I weigh the same as I did in college. That was 20 years ago. I said, okay, how big was your waistline in college? Oh, 30 inches. How big is your waistline today? Oh, 36. And they still weigh the same. How can that happen? The sands of time has shifted somewhere, right? So about every inch on that gut that you have, that's about 10 pounds. So that guy's about 50 pounds overweight of fat. He's lost his muscle. See, you lose muscle when you don't eat. It atrophies. It withers away. The fat, boy, that's there. So that fat replaces the muscle, and there's where the problem. That's why the medical profession now, they want everybody, young and old alike, to build muscle, build muscle, build muscle. Why? Because muscle burns calories. Muscles helps you in your strength, your energy, your vitality, helps everything about you. As I said, only half an hour, 3 or 4 times a week. Isn't this exciting? So what I want you to do, to get the little tape measure out, don't be in a hurry to do it. Just start cutting your calories back a little bit. Ride that side a little more, and those little inches will start to come off. And when you get that measurement down to what was or close, it doesn't have to be right on, maybe an inch or two. If it's close to what it used to be, that's what your normal weight will be. And I'll guarantee it will not exceed with a lot of fat in it. You'll have more good solid muscle. And how many of you ever read People magazine? This magazine has been so good to me in the past. A lot of good publicity. I've been lucky. See, 99% of the time, what do you find in the back of a People magazine? Let's see what these people want you and I to do to help us have better lives, longer lives, more pleasant lives. Smoking. You don't call that, health food, would you? And you wonder why these young kids smoke. You know what the good book says, the Bible says, by constantly beholding, you become changed. These appetites, they hit you. Drink this cola drink, drink this cola drink, drink this cola drink. All your athletes, your appetite. Eat this donut, eat this candy bar. What do you think these young kids are going to do? Not young kids, but anybody. I mean, older people. They're going to go for that. Right? There's another cola drink. Another Dorel, I never heard of that. Another cigarette ad. There's a coffee, here's a booze ad. Southern Comfort. You drink this, boy, and you'll be in comfort. But not the next day. Another cigarette ad. Can you believe this? You go through this whole magazine, you don't find one thing in here. Even the worst of us can make a mistake. Can you believe this? Look, the most perfect food known to man increases energy, vitality, longevity, untouched by human hands. How many do you want that for breakfast? Isn't that great? Increases energy, vitality, longevity. What is it? Puss in Boots cat food. They give it to the cat. Did you ever try to train a cat? He's smarter than you. Dogs are stupid, You can teach them and they'll do anything. Yeah. Sit down, yeah. Or the cat, they come over, from the neighbor, and you feed them. They got their tail up in the air, they're hungry. Oh, poor little kitty. And you give them a little food, you put this tail up in the air like, they're back home. How many out there really are going to take upon yourselves an exercise program? Don't think about next year, don't think about this. I want you to think in small terms. Start out real easy. And if you haven't had a physical, some of you adults, get a physical. That's important. You might have something wrong with you, you don't know. But start out real easy. Just a little walking around the house. A few little simple things. If you have the money, it's great to go to a gym, maybe get a personal trainer for a while. Or you can buy equipment at home. There's a lot of good equipment out there where you can do 10 or 15 different exercises on it. Start increasing. But don't go over half an hour. That is plenty. Some of you are going to do it. You want to work an hour and a half a day. But that's up to you. But for the average person, if you would work out vigorously, notice I said vigorous, for at least a half an hour, 3 or 4 times a week. If you want to do a little something in between, the more activity, the better. Like when you're watching television. Look at it. You watch it during a commercial, right? What are you going to do? Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. You try to touch your knees to your forehead. If you can do that, you have long knees. Now, what's bringing my legs up there? The abdominal muscles, right. See, when you bring your knees, they get the lower part here, but then when you try to touch your head, your knees, then you're working the upper and the lower part, you're working the whole bit. Then doing it again for commercials about they're 3 minutes long usually, right? Now that's 3 minutes of exercise. And see, an exercise doesn't have to be done all at one time. They're proving it now. It's just like saving money for a little bit today, a little bit tomorrow. If you do this exercise 3 minutes, you wouldn't have done, right? Then you're just going to sit in your chair. Then you just stand up. You sit in. You stand up. You sit in. What's that doing? You're burning up these big quadricep muscles here. This brings up a lot of count. And you're tightening up the gluteus, your muscles in your backside. You know what you're doing that? Why waste that time? When are you going to be just like a commercial about selling some guy hawking a cigarette or booze or something you don't even know what they're talking about? Then to you guys who have love handles, just like this. Bam, 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 bam. Now you want something for cardiovascular. Pretend you're riding a bicycle. And pretend some villain's going to come and grab you by the backside and you're trying to get away from where you go fast. Well, I'm telling you, this really gets the heartbeat. You're burning up calories. So there, and during 3 commercials, you've got 9 minutes of exercise. Isn't that incredible? How many are going to try it? That's terrific. And here's another great one for your arms and chest. For the women, you put your foot out in front of you. Then you kind of go down here. Then you push up and down and up. See, that turns up the back of the arms, just the chest muscles, all in your chair. Then you can do this for 30 seconds, as hard as you can, like this. You try that, boy, for 30 seconds. I'll tell you, you'll have also the disease called puckitis. And you firmed up, what? All the deltoid muscles, your trapezius, you're getting all the blood to the upper extremities. Isn't that exciting? Then more for your chest and your arms, you're getting fat. No, fat, I mean this. And you spin as far as you can, back as far as you can. See, those are great things you can do sitting right there. Thank you, Elaine. Boy, my little mother hen. You know, Elaine and I have been together since 1951. You know the secret? I'm a perfect husband. No. The secret is, girls, she's always right. And another great one for your thighs and for your big section like this. In a big circle for these bands like this. You do this for a while, boy. This is talk about getting your gut. Boy, this is really a gut cincher. Okay. Now you're going to start with this nutrition thing. You're going to exercise right now. Start getting more whole grain products. Try to get at least 3 to 4 raw vegetables every day. At least 2 or 3 pieces of fresh fruit. How many of you will try this? Try it for 30 days. Let me see your hand. And when you go to a restaurant, you eat bread, right? Americans are great bread eaters. Why do you have to eat that white junk? Every restaurant has whole wheat bread. And they got terrific cereals out there now. Even your supermarket has great. You have to make the choice. If it's got all this sugar and all this fillers and all this junk in it, stay away from it. Get close to nature as you can. And take your supplements. Try keeping away from eating between meals. Get that good breakfast in, please. And let me tell you something. If there are more people on the earth like this group right here today, it would be a better world. I love you and God bless you and thank you for being here.
How many people believe that Jack LaLaine? How would you like to hear him sing, I believe? Huh? You didn't know this, did you? You were going, oh, I don't know about that. Hey, incidentally, he has a website, www.jacklalaine.com. We want to thank again Holyoke Hospital for inviting us here. We love you all. And Jack, how about singing I Believe to end this? And you know, now we're going to be over here. Are we going to be back here for those of you who want to talk to Jack and autographs? So right now, would render us a little I Believe, Jack.
I didn't know the word. Where do you think I'm going to put it? What would I do without her, boy? I'll tell you. This woman, she's my personal trainer. She's my confidant. She's my Oh, hit the mic, okay. I believe for every drop of rain that falls, a flower grows. I believe that somewhere in the darkest night, a candle glows. I believe for everyone who goes astray, someone will come to show the way. I believe, I believe, I believe above the storm, the smallest prayer will still be heard. I believe that someone in the great somewhere hears every word. Every time I hear a newborn baby cry, or touch a leaf, or see the sky, then I know why I believe.
Surprise! Jack, we have another surprise of here. Charlie Rose, in 1955 and 56, worked out at your gym right here in Oakland, and he's there in the wheelchair. Now, this is Charlie Rose down here.
Great gentleman here in the world. Ed Jablowski. Ed, thanks for being here and being my friend.
Thank you very much, Jack. Thank you. Good health to you all.
And right over here, Jack, is Charlie Rose.
He's 85 years young.
And Charlie Rose over here worked out at your gym in 1965. Jack will be right over here. Charlie, let's let Charlie get through because he's in a wheelchair. Let Charlie get through so he can get a autograph over here.